Back live at the Sydney Football Stadium. As you can see, a nice dry pitch there. Looking forward to a great day of football. We've got 3 grand finals coming your way. Lots of action, lots of colour. It's just going to be one of those great days in sport. The President's Cup is the finishing school for the future stars of rugby league. The qualifiers for today's grand final are the Parramatta Eels and the South Queensland Crushers. Our match caller is Andrew Voss.
Thank you, Ken, and welcome everyone. This is the Parramatta lineup doing battle in the President's Cup Grand Final. Jamie Mann, Andrew Frew, Nathan Carr, David McLean, Michael Corrie, the half Scanlon and Jolly, and the forwards Adam Capavilla, Nathan Coyner, Steve Crouch, Tom Rando, Luke Marinkovic and Nathan Kalis. Former star of the Parramatta first grade side, John Colk, is the coach of the young Eels. And now the South Queensland Crushers. Well, you reckon St George have overcome the odds to reach a grand final. What about these young blokes? The club has a big question mark on its future, and this side is doing battle in the decider in under-21s. Paul Hubbard, Scott Lawson, Ben Roder, Brooke Eadie, Quinton Nicol, Gary Jarrett and Scott Thorburn, the halves. The forwards, Mark Burton, Phil Mooney, Heath Cruikshank, Damien Durnford, Nathan Antonick and Paul Woodward. And just on Nathan Antonick, their captain, he's celebrating his 21st birthday today on Grand Final Day. Sideline duties, Mario Fennick.
Yeah, thanks, Bossy. There's been a lot of rain in the Sydney metropolitan area, so you can imagine the ground's pretty slippery underfoot. These sides are very similar to the first grade clash, where Parramatta, the mighty premiers in this grade, are favoured to win the game. The Crushers, as you said, Bossy, have had a really tough season, have done really well to make the grand final. Keep your eyes on Brooke Eadie, the centre for the Crushers side. That's the son of the former Manly great Graham Eadie. Should be a great game. May the best side win.
It'll be Parramatta kicking off for the first half. Jason O'Brien is the referee in charge. The Parramatta Eels, minor premiers in President's Cup from this year. They operate under the old top 5 format. And the Crushers have come from 4th position, winning 3 sudden death matches straight through the final series to get through to today. So Parramatta the favourites, the first of 3 matches to be decided today, grand final day. Auckland and Cronulla to do battle in reserve grade. And then St George and Manly in the main game. But President's Cup is now underway. It is Stephen Jolly, the halfback and captain, who gets us underway, and the Crushers back to the 20-metre mark, and a horde of Parramatta defenders there first up. Among them Nathan Coyner, the second rower. And now it's Phil Mooney, second rower for the South Queensland Crushers side. Antonick working one off here with Paul Woodward. There's a sprinkling of first grade experience across both teams. Gary Jarrett, the man who just turned that ball inside there for Ben Roder. Jarrett has played half a dozen or so first grade matches for the Crushers. Scott Lawson, their winger, also has had a taste of the top grade. It was Damien Durnford up to halfway. This is last tackle for the Crushers. And Jarrett with a kick. Not a deep kick by any means. Back to the fullback, Jamie Mann, who takes no chances.
Yes, and the South Queensland Crushers playing to their strength. You'll notice that they have a very big pack of forwards there. Cruikshank, who played off the bench last week to get them into the grand final, scored a try. And that's a very good set of 6 to start the game for South Queensland.
Scrum 15 metres out from the Parramatta line. The Eels qualified straight through to the grand final, beating Illawarra at their last start 25 points to 12. As I mentioned, the South Queensland Crushers have had to face sudden death each and every week. Knocking over North Sydney the first week of the finals, the second week the Sydney City Roosters, and the third week the Illawarra Steelers. And the first touch of the ball for Parramatta. This is the lock forward, Capavilla. Over the 20-metre mark and push back inside his own 20. Some driving defence there. Mark Burton was there with Brooke Eadie. Trying the short side. Nathan Coyner. Most of the Parramatta side are local juniors. Now Luke Marinkovic. Nice inside ball. That's Crouch following up. It was a good front-on hit there from the second rower, Mooney. This is Kalis short of halfway. First kick now for Jolly. Big raps on Stephen Jolly at Parramatta. Many believe he's capable of perhaps playing first grade next year.
Some good solid defence there from Parramatta. The kick chase coming through. Led out there by Nathan Carr. Pretty similar set of 6 from both teams. The first time they've touched the ball. Both sides keen to assert some dominance in defence. neither side yet able to make a bust.
I must say too, the ground staff have done a remarkably good job with this playing surface. As little as an hour ago, it certainly looked nowhere near as good as what it's in right now. Crushes, that was Woodward attracting 3 defenders. Got a pass away called forward by O'Brien.
Well, you'd expect from that angle there, if that pass is forward, it almost had to be intentional because he handed it to him. You can't really see it from that angle. Well, he's in front of him, and I'd have to say that deliberately forward should have been the ruling.
All the same, Parramatta should have possession from this scrum. Good field position too, although at first attempt the Crushers come up with a ball and Scott Thorburn was off. Eels 40 metres out from the Crushers line. Scanlon on the outside of his man. Thorburn got across there. And now Parramatta, this is Andrew Frew, another player who sat on the bench for first grade earlier this year. The Eels 30 metres out from the line. Capavilla running hard at Paul Woodward. But they're creeping a little closer now, the Eels. Marinkovic calls the shots on to Jolly. Well, that was almost forward there to Coiner. And they've lost possession. The Crushers back with it. I did have a question mark on the pass.
Put that down to a solid tackle from Mooney. He's had a good start to the game. A solid tackle on the Parramatta lock forward Capavilla, who lost the football, and the Crushers trying to work it out of their own end now.
The Parramatta player's still down hurt. I think it may be Capavilla. The trainer's called for some assistance out on the field, so a bit of a blow early for the Eels. Now some yards up the middle for the halfback Thorburn.
Thorburn over the 30-metre line, and Marner's the last line of defence.
And they do look the goods too. I already mentioned they do have a big pack of forwards. They look good when Thorburn runs the football, the little halfback. He did it well last week.
Jarrett, good pass for Rhoda, and Rhoda just lost his footing. Jarrett has wrapped around. They're 15 metres out from the Eels line. This is the last tackle. Now, who will have the kick? It's a crossfield, putting pressure here on Michael Corrie. Corrie stands his ground, good take. He was under enormous pressure, pushed back in goal, a line drop out for Parramatta.
Oh, didn't he do well there, the young winger. Left the ground there, there's a high ball put up. And Brooke Eady almost has that ball in his grasp. And forced into the in-goal area.
Well, Eady would have thought he had that there block. Almost in his hands, but a great take from the winger out wide. Parramatta now. Another set of 6 it looks like. And some, we'll have to really dig in now in defence.
It's been a really enthusiastic start from the South Queensland Crushers. I saw them play last week against Illawarra to get to the grand final. The start to the game was poor. Looks like they've really got on with the job during the week of training and started so well in this game.
Well, they rated the performance against the Steelers as their worst of the final series. So looking to pick up, but turn the ball inside. Rhoda's been heavily involved this centre. He scored a try in each of the last 4 weeks for the South Queensland side. Thorburn floating a high ball for Jarrett. And Jarrett sided half a gap. The defence was there in Kalis. Now on the 20-metre line, Mooney there for Eady. 19 years of age, Brooke Eady. His brother Todd is on scholarship with the South Queensland Crushers. This is the last tackle. A long pass fired out there for Jarrett. This time the pressure will be on Andrew Frew. Can he answer the challenge? He's lost possession. Antonic with it for the Crushers. That's the first of 6 tackles.
Short on the blind.
Jarrett away, turning inside is Cruikshank. Cruikshank gets close to the line. Held up by 3 Parramatta defenders. Now Antonic puts that pass out. It's gone past all of the support.
Well, that is, you've got to put that down as a bomb try. Cruikshank thought he had to dummy from the play before this. Here's the ball, trying to get it tapped on. In fact, touched there by the Parramatta player, but the play before, 3 on 2. The Crushers should have scored.
There was just a catch and pass situation there on the blind side, and had Cruikshank been able to get the football on the outside, they'd have scored.
The Crushers, though, Thorburn from the scrum base. It was a good decision by the referee. No knock on there from Antony. Jarrett throws a long ball. Intercept for Corrie. Can the cover get him? I don't think so. They're coming at him now in Lawson. Corrie, can he have the legs? Lawson cuts him down.
Oh, fabulous chase there. Corrie's turned it all around for Parramatta.
Scanlon throws the pass for Carr for the corner. He scores. Against the run of play, Parramatta come up with the first tie for grand final day, and Nathan Carr has scored it.
Well, how calm were Parramatta after the long break was made. Beautiful play from Carr to position himself on the blind side. Here's the long ball again. Jarrett sees it on the outside, and there's the intercept. And didn't the South Queensland Crusher winger do so well there to catch him? That was young Lawson. Beautiful tackle there. The thing that I like the best about this is the calmness of the Parramatta players. And that's well read by the number 3 there, Nathan Carr. And too much power over the top of the South Queensland defender to score the first try of the grand final.
Oh, you've got to put that down as at least an 8-point turnaround. The Crushers should have scored a couple of plays before. We've already talked about that. And then from an intercept, a long ball from Gary Jarrett. They've gone the length of the field to score through number 3, Nathan Carr.
And Nathan Carr is the leading try scorer in this Parramatta side. Corrie with the intercept. It wasn't a matter of him slowing down. It was just the pace of the chaser, Scott Lawson. They reckon he's the fastest in the club, and I reckon he showed it right then. That was a tremendous chase because he was giving Corrie a good 10-metre start back on the 20. So Jolly will have the conversion attempt right on the sideline. This is the young player that they've got so many raps on. Just 19 years of age. Local junior. Played in their Jersey flag side, the under-19s last season. So now Jolly. 22 metres out for a 6-0 lead for Parramatta. Certainly struck it well just to the left side of the uprights. But Parramatta off to the start. They lead the Crushers by 4 points to 0. Eels up by 4. And the South Queensland Crushers back to the job of defending right now. And this is Nathan Kalis. He was the Commonwealth Bank Cup Player of the Year last season.
Well, the Crushers have a couple of reserves ready to come on. Nathan Solodjinkin and Mark Tukey. Interesting to see how much of an effect that has on them. They had all the opportunities early in this first half and didn't come up with a try. In fact, Parramatta at the other end of the field, and that could be a real blow to their confidence.
Kicking on the last with Jolly.
And that set of 6, you could see the Parramatta excitement in their play. The ball was a lot quicker than it was earlier in the game, and that try certainly has gave them some confidence.
Well, it was a bonus try, wasn't it? Really came from nothing. They were just scrambling, hoping to hold the Crushers out, and suddenly they've scored at the other end of the field. What a boost for them. It's all now for the Crushers to work their way up the other end of the field.
10 metres short of halfway, the Crushers. Antonik now working to the right side of the ruck. The Parramatta defence there, Marinkovic and Jolly, the halfback. Now Thorburn. Put that pass, this is Mark Tukey on in 17. Now you will notice this young bloke, he's junior blocker. Now Jarrett kicking. A deep kick for the corner. In fact, too deep has gone touch in goal, so we'll come back to the 20.
And that was one of the problems last week in the semi-final that they played in. Just overplayed their hand on a number of occasions. The South Queensland Crushers side, they've got to get their kicking game in order if they are to go on and really put some pressure on this Parramatta side. That's an easy walk to the 20-metre line.
Eels working the short side. Tom Rando flying across the cover defence. 16. Nathan Solodjinkin came over the top. Now Stephen Crouch. Better known for his defensive work. Look out for him in the tackling department. He is a real hitman, Stephen Crouch.
A little bit of first-grade experience too for Crouch. He played in the last game against Penrith Panthers at their home ground and was very impressive.
Now with it, the 5'8" Scanlon. Let's take a comment from the sideline, Mario.
Yeah, it's important that the Crushers don't panic. In fact, down on the sideline here, I can hear the Crushers are doing a lot more talk than the Parramatta side, as we see a break made now.
Jamie Martin it was, and kicked rather early, although they might get a good result. Now from the in goal, this is Paul Hubbard. They will get the result, and there's a touch judge in as well. The referee has blown his whistle, and one could only suspect that it's for one of the chasers being impeded.
Yeah, Crushers trying to get their way out of the in goal there, but you'd have to suspect. Here's the break made. Marn sees that he's got a lot of cover coming across, puts the kick in. Now he's the man there. Oh, I'm not sure if he was impeded. The players have got the right just to make their way back towards the football. The touch judge, I'd say, has said Tukey has run across the path of Jamie Marn with no intention of chasing the ball.
Well, I thought that was great football there from Jamie Marn to put the kick in. I didn't think it was too early. What he's trying to do is get another set of 6 to put all the pressure on this South Queensland Crusher side. And there's the penalty, obstruction, the shoulder put in there after the kick.
So Parramatta, is there any thought to going for goal? It doesn't appear so. The Eels will remain on the attack, leading by 4 points to 0. And here comes Tom Rando. Working there with Jolly. And away, Scanlon on for Carr, the try scorer. 15 metres out from the Crushers line. Jarrett was the tackler. And now the replacement player, Brennan. The Crushers now finding themselves under real pressure. If they concede a try here, they could go down by 10 points to 0. And we've only had 14 minutes of play as Scanlon pushes on here. The Crushers defence again, they came up quickly. Mark Burton missed a tackle there, the lock forward. Scanlon works with Crouch. 5 metres out from the line. Still the defence answering the challenge. Marinkovic there for Marn, it's gone forward. And that was the pressure from Nathan Anthony. Coming out of marker.
Yeah, good chase there from Anthony. The play the ball wasn't that good there from Crouch. He didn't get to his feet quick enough, which put pressure on the outside men. There's Anthony making the tackle there. Marn trying to get the catch and pass going. And then a touch and lucky for the Crushers. And here's a good run out. And this is what they do so well, get out of trouble. They've got so many big men in their forwards who can make yardage.
This is Phil Mooney. Tackled 15 metres short of halfway. The Crushers, they've done the simple things, I guess, right. That time it was Burton. They've earned a penalty for inside the 10 against Parramatta. So a chance here for the Crushers to go on the attack inside Eels territory.
We put that down to a quick play the ball, the tackle before on Phil Mooney. Just put the Parramatta defence under a bit of pressure, creeping up early. There's Mooney getting up as quick as he can. And they failed to get back inside the 10. Forcing the referee to give them a penalty. The Crushers now inside Parramatta's half. And they'll be looking this time to capitalise. Last time they were here, of course, turned out to be a try at the other end of the field to their opponents.
The Crushers last week had a fair bit of luck. There's Tukey taking the ball forward on the fringe of the ruck. They do it so well off their halfback.
Now Thorburn, that is the halfback who turned that ball inside. They're on the Parramatta 20. Thorburn slotting into dummy half. Parramatta down to the 12 at the moment with the player down in back. Players Edie gets through the first line of defence. The cover was scrambling for Parramatta. Now Anthony. Thorburn. They may have the numbers on the left. Thorburn doesn't catch and pass. Tukey looking to offload. Back for Thorburn. Quick hands here for Jarrett. Jarrett has support. He now flicks that ball inside and Roeder is tackled, but they're just not drawing the man and passing the Crushers. Last tackle with Jarrett. The grubber kick to the in goal. Marn on one bounce is back to the field of play.
Oh, that was beautifully collected in the in-goal area there from Scotty Marn. He's hurt his shoulder there cleaning up for the Parramatta side, but Jarrett has blown it again on the blind side. Had he caught and passed there, it was 3-on-1. They would have scored for sure.
I think we just have to give a bit of credit too to the Parramatta defence. They are scrambling very well. They held off Jarrett as long as they could there while the cover defence came. Put him under a little bit of pressure with the ball in his hands. Had the winger rushed up and in on Jarrett, it would have been a try for sure. Now they're trying to get their way out, but Parramatta looking a little bit tired. They've done some 12 tackles in a row. Just trying to slow the game down a little bit, work for the kicking game, and now a good chase is what they need.
Mentioned in the previous play, man down in back play, that was Colin Brennan. He's since gone from the field for Parramatta, and still attention being given to Jamie Marn, the fullback. So they've got their problems, and they've got further problems now. They've conceded another penalty.
Well, Gaz, at the moment, Hubbard having a little bit of problems for South Queensland, not judging the kicks that well. He's playing fullback. He's had to turn around and chase on a number of occasions. Gets the penalty there.
Oh, I guess you'd prefer your fullback to be back deep enough to take the ball either on the full or run onto it. The kicking game's been okay from Parramatta as well, hitting the ground as often as they can. Makes it a little bit difficult to chase there, just holding it back deep as far as they could. Tukey now looking for some yards. And the big fella, the more he's on the field, the longer the more opportunity he gets. I guess if they start to fall off tackles, he's one player that can make a bust and offload a ball for the Crushers.
So the Crushers in possession. This is Solojinkin. We just saw a shot of Paul Hubbard, the fullback, with the conditions in the wet ground that was freshly painted. A lot of the signage. He's ended up with a big strip of white on the side of his head. Ball off the legs there of Edie, although O'Brien has not found a knock on. It's play on for Parramatta.
And they're just having problems with the wet conditions at the moment, the South Queensland Crushers. Every time they do go wide, they're a little bit flat at the moment. I'd like to see them get a little bit more depth with the likes of Brooke Edie running onto the football. He's a big, strong fellow. He can break tackles. They're just a little bit shallow at the moment.
Now the ball is is with Fafua for Parramatta, and he gets past the first line. Inside the 30 now. Crushers into the field. Parramatta up by 4 points to 0. And this is Scanlon kicking through. The chase is being led by Carr, and Hubbard has covered up well. There were 3 chases there for Parramatta. A bouncing ball, and Hubbard did extremely well, the fullback.
They have the traits of all the good Parramatta sides, always great chases after the kick. And I have to agree with Gary, they have had a very good kicking game early in this match. They haven't had that much football, but what they've done with it has been a lot better than the South Queensland Crushers side. Here's a break
up from Woodward. The pass put down by Ron Dennis, and the Crushers unable to force the knock on. Parramatta have the turnover now with Frew. Some room down the blind side. Wrapped up in the defence of Ben Roda.
And that's been one of the problems so far, handing over the football in their own half. They'll have to fix that up if they're going to go on and win this one.
Charging run there from Kalis on the 10-metre line. Marinkovic away here for the lock forward, Capavilla. Capavilla 5 metres out from the Crushers line. Marinkovic switching back to the right side for Coiner. Coiner will go very close. Held up there by Burton over the top, and it is the last tackle for Parramatta. Here it is with Jolly, stepping. He needs support. The pass there is with Marinkovic. Back for Capavilla, long ball for Marn. They'll get a second chance to kick. Marn stepping. Runs into the front rower, Durnford. That's a good tackle from the 10.
That's a good tackle from the big front rower too. All sorts of space there for Marn. I thought he was going to step his way through. But good scrambling of defence there from South Queensland. They really had to make the tackle then. Let's see what they can do getting out of trouble now. They've got to control the football coming out of their own end.
They did well then. 6 tackles defending their own line. And they're hanging in there. Anthony.
Well, you tipped it before. That's where there is a bit of space. Quick play the balls, and around the edge of the ruck, there's another hole up the middle of the ruck. Almost getting through, there's Mark Burton. But I think that's the area. You said it earlier, Steve. They're very good out wide, Parramatta, but just in close. That's where the Crushers can exploit them.
A few offloads coming in. They're a little untidy, but now the fullback Hubbard. Hubbard away from Kalis, then away from Marinkovic. And Paul Hubbard is just outside the 20-metre line. Parramatta well and truly on the back foot at the moment. Replacement player there is Tim Donovan. A little grubber kick through. More or less kicking for himself, and Parramatta back in possession.
Yeah, about to say that too. Can't afford to play for yourself in these games. Still 14 minutes left on the clock in the first half.
Well, not from that far out either, Block. Really, either the ball up in the air or try to get it on the ground in the end goal, so your side's got a chance to get it back. Or Parramatta may be coming out from right off their try line.
We know that Parramatta are playing well in this game, but it's just a case of the South Queensland Crushers boys just a little bit too excited with the ball, handing over cheap possession. And there's a knock on. That's a mistake that South Queensland will be looking for in a perfect position to attack from. Let's see what they can do from the scrum base.
So the South Queensland Crushers, they trail by 4 points to 0, but they are attacking inside the Parramatta 40. Thorburn. Here it is with the front row Woodward. He has been good in this first half. Good quick play the ball as well as Anthony takes off from there. Trying to link up there with the front rower Durnford. He ran away from Durnford. We're on the 20-metre line now. Back for Thorburn. Stepping, straightening up, and then a pass for Burton. Burton then offloading. Anthony, quick hands. The Crushers just metres out from the line. They haven't passed.
On the outside, once again, the winger was over.
There's now Dennis. Hands now for Thorburn. He kicks for the corner. Can they get there? I reckon that's a try to the centre. Ben Roda. He claims the try. The referee consults the touch judge. O'Brien awards it. Oh, a long stretch from the left hand of the centre.
Well, great play there from South Queensland. They're having all sorts of problems with their right-hand defence, this Parramatta side. They switch back to the blind side there, and well read there from their 5'8" Jarrett. The little chip through there. And just got on the outside there, the dive, desperation for the football, and that is a try, downward pressure. Fair try to the Crushers.
That's the key to it, Thorburn's kick. He definitely got a hand to it. Did he push it down? Yes, he did. What a great effort there from the winger. And the Parramatta halfback just trailing that Stephen Jolly. I bet he wishes now he'd push the ball out over the sideline. Fantastic for the Crushers.
And isn't that a great picture too? Have a look at that. They know they're back in this match. That's Ben Roda, 9 tries for the season.
Well, that's an incredible record for this young bloke, Ben Roda. He's now scored tries in each of the last 5 games, every one of them sudden death. and he's come up with a crucial try. A Redcliffe Jr. in Brisbane, 20 years of age, the centre. Goal-kicking duties are with the halfback Thorburn. Actually hails from New South Wales, from Wingham. And 80 points for the year. You can't get any closer to the sideline than that. Thorburn to see if the Crushers can get in front. It won't curl back. So we're all locked up, the Crushers and Parramatta. This grand final in the President's Cup is 4-all. With plenty of spirit. Their first grand final. And it is also the last President's Cup grand final we'll have. The league adopting just the 2-grade system next year. The Crushers, there's a big tackle coming up there. Capavilla almost producing the hit on Mark Burton. A strong forward performance from the Crushers. Everyone getting involved with the hit-ups. That time it was Durnford. The work here for Thorburn. Very busy the halves as well. Mahon, he's recovered from that earlier knock. He's on his own 10-metre line. Jamie Mahon. The chasers there, led by Tim Donovan. Now Corrie. His intercept led to the first try for Nathan Carr. Marinkovic here from the second rower, Coiner. Nice tackle from Andernick. They've lost the ball, although O'Brien will penalise the lock forward Burton.
Some relief there for Parramatta. The try scored by the Crushers moments ago came from a mistake in a similar area. But the offside, well, the referee had obviously played the advantage. He'd seen the player up inside the 10. Once the mistake was made, the penalty came to Parramatta.
Parramatta Eels, the minor premiers. The President's Cup. It's Jolly there for Crouch. He bumps away from Tukey. 35 metres out from the Crushers line. Parramatta's last title was in fact President's Cup in 1988. So they're looking to add to the tally here. It's Marinkovic inside for Mahon at pace. Mahon is inside the 20. Tackled by Heath Cruikshank. But now 15 metres out from the line. Jolly on for Scanlon. Scanlon then links up with Carr. Nice tackle around the legs from Eadie. Took Eadie out wide. Good battle in the centres. Now with it is Fafua. Parramatta not coming up with the offloads. They're 5 metres out from the line and they've used up 5 tackles. Jolly. Now he tries the grubber kick, Jolly. Rotor is back there and it's covered up by the winger. And now there's pressure on the Crushers to get back to the field of play. Jolly followed up on the kick. The tackle on Nickel. A line drop out for the Crushers.
Oh, he's a clever player, Jolly. He's been in everything. He goes to the line there with the chip through. Plenty of chasers there for the Parramatta side, but cleaned up well in the end. And there's Jolly making the tackle to force the South Queensland Crushers in the in-goal area. And they get another chance and another set of 6. And I have to agree with Andrew. They're just not getting the second phase play going at the moment, the Parramatta side.
Let's see what they can do in this set of 6. It's Fafua. Oh, Tukey just dropped the shoulder. Solid Jinkin did the majority of the work in the tackle, but Tukey said, I'll just finish this one off as Corrie. He's tackled 25 metres out from the line. The Crushers, not too many missed tackles in their line. There's now Brennan. He gets up and beyond the 20-metre line. Has he lost it? There's an appeal from the Crushers. He has. So Colin Brennan comes up with an error on tackle 3, and the Crushers will have a scrum feed.
Yeah, it was a loose carry here. It was a good hit over the top there. Is there a hand? Someone's got control of the football there. And good tackling there from the South Queensland side. Really putting pressure on Parramatta now. They're hitting hard in defence.
Well, the hands went up in the air. The back line out wide for Parramatta. All set very deep. Thought they had a shot. Four attackers against forward. Lots of space. And the error came. So I guess the Parramatta side feeling a little bit disappointed. The coach, no doubt, John Colk, knows these side probably should be in the lead if they can hold the ball. They just haven't given themselves any opportunities apart from that one intercept.
There's Mark Tukey, attracting 3 defenders. He was used as a replacement in first grade this year. There was a flying tackle from Capavilla, which missed. Just 5 metres short of halfway, Andernick. Tukey wants another hitter. He's second in this set of 6. Quick to get to his feet, Andernick. Last tackle. Kicking. The winger Corrie is back. It's got past him on first bounce and then pulls up and goes touch in goal.
And there's the advantage of having a hooker who can kick out of the dummy half area. Everyone's onside. It puts the chasers onside straight away. And that's, again, the kicking game that's let South Queensland down. It's the third time that they've kicked in the in-goal area and just given Parramatta an easy walk to the 20-metre line.
5.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Mario, your impression of the Crushers?
Yes, I tried to say before I had to hold the phone, the Crushers just out enthusing Parramatta. Parramatta are the minor premiers, but they're certainly not playing that way. The Crushers are really sensing a bit of an upset here, and that Tukey, is that a blocker lookalike or what?
He is indeed. He became an instant crowd hero when he appeared in grade in Brisbane. He does like to smash them in the tackles, I know that. It's like a big bowling ball. They're 5 metres inside the Crushers' half. This is Jolly. That kick may be a little deep. The chase is being led again by Carr, and Hubbard, who covers up at the back. He's done well, Paul Hubbard. Almost back to the 20.
He's got the ability to... Oh, there's a penalty, a hand in the tackle there from the 5'8". Scanlon it is. But Hubbard, the South Queensland fullback, has got the ability to skip out of tackles. And his involvement in the game so far has been outstanding, and I just think the South Queensland are outplaying this Parramatta side at the moment.
It's the sort of day the conditions dictate that fullbacks are going to get a lot of football today, a lot of kicking going on. We've seen that already in this game. And yeah, the man at the back, Paul Hubbard for the Crushers, is doing a good job for his side.
You see Tukey then, he's coming off the field now, but that last hit up was a good one. The ball is with Donovan. Inside there for Roda. Roda offering a left arm fend. Able to make the tackle was Kalis. This is Thorburn, a halfback. He sighted a gap. The defence was up there for Fua and also Shannon Power.
He's very good at keeping them honest in the middle of the ruck. They've got great options, this South Queensland Crushers side. Plenty of ball players there.
Jarrett, last tackle. They try the bomb. Now Mann is standing flat-footed in the in goal. He's lost it. It's a try. As simple as that for the Crushers. The fullback Mann lost the ball. He was standing and waiting for the bomb. And the Crushers hit the front for the first time. It's 8-4.
Well, Jarrett, it's the first time that he's been on target with his kick. That was a sensational bomb there. And have a look at the chase from South Queensland. And in the end, it's just Lawson, the speedster, cleaning up the scraps. Mann goes up. Very hard for a fullback to take the ball there. He loses it forward. And there's Lawson right on the spot. And what a time to score 2-3 minutes out from the half-time break. It's all South Queensland at the moment.
Well, the Crushers, we talked about their enthusiasm. They're certainly taking the game to Parramatta. I've got to comment, though, when the ball went up, Phil Mooney, the number 12 for the Crushers, was offside, and he just trailed the ball through, not realising that that try could have been disallowed. He was within 10 metres of the fullback, didn't get involved in the play in the end. I think the referee still did the right thing, but on a technicality.
And Parramatta on their side of things, Gary, there was no protection, though, for the fullback. It was for charging Crushers players at the fullback. And now for a 6-point lead, Scott Thorburn. The young face of the halfback for the Crushers. They are certainly putting in a bold showing here. 15 metres out. Thorburn makes that lead 6 points. So the South Queensland Crushers, they lead Parramatta by 10 points to 4. They started this game as underdogs against the minor premiers. But right at the moment, they are the team on top. Now watch the chases. There was some protection. Corrie sort of ran across the face. But Lawson was presented with the try as Jolly restarts for Parramatta. The Crushers will come back with Mooney. Interesting story around this second row. He actually represented his country at volleyball and had to make a decision a year or so back which sport he was going to pursue. Just looking at him, he's about 6'6".
Gee, it's been outstanding the way they've shared the workload around the South Queensland Crushers forward pack. Everyone willing to put their hand up and take the ball forward. They're really steamrolling Parramatta at the moment.
Durnford inside Parramatta's half. 5 tackles, but it's been a very disciplined set of 6 following the try. They've worked their way forward. Thorburn was knocked down by Scanlon. It's still on for the Crushers. Lawson will lead the chase, and here comes their Lawson gets a double. I've got no doubts about the try at all. And look at the elation of the South Queensland Crushers at 14-4.
Well, the kicking game of the half and 5'8" hasn't been superb today, but they couldn't have done better on that occasion. Thorburn, the little chip over the top. He got blocked out, couldn't get through. But watch Gary Jarrett, just got his right leg to the ball. Lawson's definitely a metre behind him. Chases through and got the bounce. It would have been a little bit of doubt as the ball came through, but it just sat up perfectly for him and races over for 2 tries within a couple of minutes.
And what about the tremendous effort from Jarrett, the 5'8"? Didn't try to dive on the football or pick it up, just put his boot to the football. He knows the man's got the speed on the outside. That's Lawson. We've already mentioned the quickest player in the club. And what a place to attack from, Gary, right in the middle of the field on halfway. Beautifully positioned. They've got so many options, this South Queensland Crushers side, and they're going to go on with this one.
Well, this kick from Thorburn is a nicely placed one. He couldn't chase it through. Jarrett, the ball just got away from him. All he could get to it was his right foot and did it beautifully. And Lawson flying through. Not much doubt at all he would be the quickest bloke in their club.
Well, he's like a whippet, Scott Lawson, and that is 5 tries for the finals for the young winger. He scored 3 in the first week in their win over North Sydney. And Thorburn gets his 3rd kick. Right in front, a 12-point lead on offer. He accepts that. And that is half-time for the South Queensland side. They trailed 4-0, yet they go to the break leading by 16 points to 4.
With the sun bathing the Sydney Football Stadium on grand final day, we're in for a terrific afternoon of rugby league. Nevertheless, a good morning of rugby league also. Let's return to the second half of this President's Cup Grand Final. South Queensland Crushers 16, Parramatta Eels 4. Here's Andrew Voss.
Yes, Ken, the picture a lot brighter now here at the Sydney Football Stadium. I guess there's a bit of in us, in all of us, about the admiration for the underdog and the Crushers. When you consider what this club has been through, these young blokes don't even know whether there'll be a club come Monday. They've come down here, taking on the minor premiers, a side they've lost to twice this year, and they lead by 12 points at half-time. So they're 35 minutes away from what I would consider one of the best achievements in rugby league this year, if they can come up as premiers.
They're on such of a roll in the first half. I wonder if the half-time break might hurt them, might have dented their enthusiasm that they had in the first half. This is 10 minutes very important for both sides, especially the South Queensland Crushers, if they can go on with it.
Gary Jarrett gets the second half underway, and the Parramatta side sure to be fired up for this second 35 minutes. Tom Rando had the first hit up. I think the front rowers will need to answer the challenge for Parramatta. They've been outplayed in the first half by the Crushers. Indeed, the entire Parramatta pack has played second fiddle to the Crushers 6. As Scanlon pushes on there for McLean. McLean proving a handful for the defence, 15 short of halfway.
Important for Parramatta here not to panic in this early stages of the second half. They're in this match. It's a tough deficit, 12 points, but they don't need to score just quite yet. Sometime in the first section of the half, the first 20 minutes would probably be sufficient for them to get back in the match, but certainly they need to have some solid sets of 6. And there already is the mistake that the Crushers would love to see. It was the problem with Parramatta in the first half.
Gee, I thought that was poor refereeing there. Players laying around in the play the ball. It should have been a penalty to Parramatta, struggling to get to their feet. It's a bit of a give-me again for the South Queensland Crushers side. They make the yards in the middle of the ruck again through Durnford.
Crushers with Thorburn. There's a ball for Mooney. Continuing on from where he left off in the first half. He's really taken on the defence. Now Burton, quick hands there for Thorburn. Trying the inside ball that time. They're 25 metres out from the line. It comes for Woodward. He lumbers up to the defence, and Scanlon was the tackler. Antonic now. The passes with Gary Jarrett. He supplies a kick to the inside. The man back there is the lock forward, Capavilla, and there's no risk there. He just kicks it dead in goal, so line drop out for Parramatta.
It looked like there was a bit of space on the outside. Jarrett no doubt had planned that with his inside runners before it happened. But just before he kicked on the outside, his winger had about 10 metres of room against just one man. And I suspect would have liked to seen the ball on the outside, Quinton Nicol.
There's a big line dropout, 55 metres on the fly, and it's back with Heath Cruikshank. Cruikshank gets back to the 40-metre line. Oh, good tackle. Nathan Coyner.
And that's the sort of defence that they have to pull off here early in this second half. Stamp a bit of authority on their game. I'm sure their coach at half-time will be very disappointed with the way that they approached the first half. They didn't really put any sting in their defence. They need to do that.
Damien Durnford. Now, is there a caution for one of the Parramatta players? I think there will be. Durnford was the ball carrier. Stephen Crouch, I think, is the player being called out. Or is it Coyner? In fact, it's probably Capavilla, the lock forward. There it is, the right arm creeping up over the top.
Yeah, Capavilla the man. Not too much sting in that tackle. He's being warned for just jumping up too high. The referee now talking to the captain about his side's tackling style, but certainly they need to keep the aggression there and just keep the high shots down.
Well, what do you do here? Going to have a shot at goal. They will. Perfect opportunity for South Queensland to get on the scoreboard early in the second half. Somewhere about 32 metres out, a little bit to the right of the upright.
Treatment on the bench for the Crushers, and a change in kicker too now for them. Gary Jarrett has assumed the goal-kicking duties. Scott Thorburn has been replaced as kicker. He's managed 2 from 3 so far. This is for a 14-point lead. 33 metres out. Gary Jarrett. It's a good strike from the 5/8. It will get there. So the Crushers, they extend their lead to 14. We'll take a break. This is the grand final of the President's Cup. Grand final day, 1996, has started well for one of the interstate clubs in the South Queensland Crushers. Auckland will feature in the reserve grade grand final against Cronulla as the Crushers come up with a drop ball. It was coughed up by Phil Mooney. Parramatta with a chance. And now the front row, Orlando. Right in there, the tacklers. Tukey was coming over the top with Anthony. It's back for Jolly. Showed the ball there to Stephen Crouch. 12 metres out. This is the testing time for Parramatta. It comes inside there for Capavilla. Running at angle. He's 5 metres out from the Crushers line. Marinkovic. It's with Jolly. Then the ball, it was a cutout pass for Scanlon. But the defence is up in a line. He's still able to get away. With a second rower, Coyner. Last tackle for Parramatta. Well, they try the high ball. It's the grubber to the in goal. Eadie has it covered. Brooke Eadie now. He's like the rabbit and they catch him. This will be a line dropout for South Queensland.
Well, I just think Parramatta are throwing the ball around a little bit too much. They need to power towards the post, try and put a dent in this South Queensland Crushers defensive line. And they defend it so well. There's Brooke Eadie reading and cleaning up very easily. A good chase there again from the halfback and captain Stephen Jolly to clean up for Parramatta. They'll get the football back, but they need to punch some holes in the middle of the ruck.
And it's Kalis who comes back for Parramatta. Just on Stephen Jolly, the previous tackler. He's up near the top of the tackle count, the halfback. Mario Fennick on the sideline.
Contrasting feelings in both dressing rooms, as you can imagine. In the Parramatta dressing room, coach John Cock very disappointed with no enthusiasm in the side. He said, look, don't panic. He said, we've got 35 minutes. Don't fall into the trap of trying to play catch-up. In the Crushers dressing room, you can imagine they're very, very happy. Their coach, Graham Hurley.
Hang on a second, Mario, as Mann gets through the centre, back in field and scores. Oh, what a put-down from the fullback, Jamie Mann. Well, if John Colk was unhappy at half-time, he could probably spare a smile right now. That was a super try from the fullback. 18 points to 8.
The big second man plays the one out here that gets some of the Crushers defenders slow on the slide. Eadie's the one who just can't quite get to his man. And just changing direction there out wide. Mann coming back inside the fullback. Does well with that one-hand push-up or put down. But just good speed on the outside. It's got him outside of his man, through the hole, changes direction back in. And Parramatta, with a nice little set play, have got themselves back in the match.
Oh, that's beautiful play there from Mann. Involvement in the game so far. They haven't had the football that much, but when he has had the football in his hand, Mann shown tremendous pace. He got on the outside of Eadie there, too much pace. Beautiful set play there from Parramatta. And if Parramatta are to get back into this game properly, they need players like Mann to get involved.
Stephen Jolly, 12 metres in from touch on the 20-metre line, and there's another 2 to the Parramatta tally. So they edge back into this match. 18 points to 10, the Crushers over the Eels. Minor premiers, trailing now by 8 points. Frew is the man who's just busted through. This is Andrew Frew. He's now 30 metres out from the line, and Paul Hubbard comes across with a classic tackle on the winger.
Well, that's bad play there from Frew. He did well to bust through, but he had plenty of time to come in field. He tried to beat the fullback Hubbard, who has plenty of pace on the outside. I just think that's poor play from Parramatta when they do need to get back into this match. Tremendous bust there from the young man. Just didn't have the pace to get around and had plenty of time to come infield.
No thought of offend either from Frew. And this is Ben Roeder. Scored a miraculous try in the first half, chasing a kick. The Crushers just needing to settle down now. It's been quite their effort the last 5 minutes. They've been broken a couple of times. Up again for the hit, Parramatta. Nathan Coyner, I reckon he fancies himself on the big tackle. Here's Tukey. Getty attracts 3 defenders. Capavilla was around the legs. The Crushers keeping the roll on with Burton, inside pass. So now it's the Crushers threatening to break this Parramatta line. Last tackle. Long ball there for Jarrett. Jarrett kicks for the corner there of Corrie. Corrie does the right thing. Pulls back the hand rather than make a contest at the football. So we come back to the 20 for the restart.
Gary Jarrett's kicked just a little bit too deep. What that has shown us is that the ground has dried out sufficiently in the corners. That kick running on very well. So I guess for the rest of the day, for the afternoon, no real problems at all with the conditions underfoot. But what he has done is given Parramatta the ball back now. They're 60 metres out from the line, and it's only third tackle.
The determination coming from the Crushers now with the defence. 2s and 3s in every tackle. Almost a shepherd there for Jolly. He had to put the handbrake on to pull up. Jarrett came in to make the tackle. Marinkovic away here for Capavilla. Looks a free runner, this lock forward for Parramatta. Adam Capavilla. Another one of the local juniors in the side. Now Jolly kicking. Last tackle. The man going back is Lawson. He's got plenty of toe to get there. Now can he get back to the field of play? He's past the first man, then past his second. This is Scott Lawson. Well, the role he's played in the match, he's probably only been involved 3 or 4 times, but they've been starring entries.
I'll tell you what, he is a first grader of the future. The speed to get back on to clean, or get back to clean that ball up in the in-goal area, and to get out of his in-goal area and beat 2 and 3 on the way, certainly has a future. He's got an appetite to get in there and work for his team too, the winger. They're just making easy yardage now. Quite comfortable, the Crushers. They've just got to control the football.
Nathan Antoniuk it was that time, and now another run from dummy half. Antoniuk supports. Inside their own half on tackle number 5, the Crushers. Jarrett, and with that first grade experience, maintaining a good reign on this match. Mann from the back for Parramatta. He got away from Roeder. Able to pass in the tackle of Dennis. This is Jolly. Roeder kept up the chase. Now it's back for Robertson. On the field in 17, Christian Robertson for Parramatta. The Eels are 20 short of halfway, and Capavilla is the man putting his hand up right now for the Eels. He's leading the way for the forwards for Parramatta.
Been very disappointed with their front rowers today. Just haven't aimed up for the Parramatta side. Kalis, a big rap on him, Australian schoolboy, just hasn't really produced today.
The Eels right on halfway. Mario Fennick, we know that the Crushers, they are chasing a piece of history right here.
Yeah, that's right. Their coach made that point at half-time. He said, look, we've got the opportunity to make history. The Crushers have never won a competition in their 2 short years in the competition, and they've got the great chance now.
That kick was really nothing doing into the speedster. And the Crushers start on their own 20. This is Brooke Eadie. Able to make 10 metres with just a straightforward run. The attentions of the 2 second rowers, Crouch and Coyner, were there. Now the big man Mooney. Mooney stretching out. I understand the Tigers have got their eyes on Phil Mooney. He could well be on a winner. As Durnford gets it inside Parramatta's half. This is an impressive set of 6 from the Crushers forwards. Now Burt way there for the 16, that's Solojinka. Then for the fullback, Hubbard. The defence able to hang on. Nathan Carr, last tackle. The Crushers up by 8. President's Cup Grand Final. Thorburns going to be trapped in possession on the last. It's play on for Nathan Coyner.
Nathan Carr, the number 3 for Parramatta, the man that put all the pressure on the Crushers then. Tackled there, halfback Thorburn with the ball. He tried to force the pass out, and now a bit of a roll on up the middle.
Capavilla with an offload there from Marikovic. Capavilla was able to play forward and make 20 metres, then put an offload. Corrie is a dummy half. They keep it going to the left side. This is Jolly, the halfback. 10 metres out from the Crushers line. If they score here, Parramatta could come right over the top of the Crushers. It comes wide for McLean. He thought about a kick. Then an offload for Mark. Through was angling back inside. The tackler was there, Nickel. Last tackle for Parramatta. This is Scanlon. Scanlon kicks across field. Eadie is there. He's lost it, Eadie. No offside in goal. They will force a line drop out from Scott Lawson.
Well, that was a perfect opportunity for Eadie. He rushed his catch there. No real pressure put on him from the Parramatta players. It was a poor kick from the 5'8". That Scanlon had plenty of time, Eadie. He jumped and left the ground, I don't know why, and cleaned up beautifully there by the winger, who's had a magnificent game for the Crushers. And that's Lawson cleaning up there. I don't really understand why he jumped up to take the football. If he caught on the full, that's a 20-metre tap.
So the line drop out, Parramatta. Score points right now, the Crushers. This is the most sustained pressure they've been under in the match. Andrew Frew from the wing. That's a good hit up from the winger. 10 metres out from the Crushers line. They've got the second rower now preparing for the hit up. That was Coyner. Able to advance at just 5 metres. Woodward was hanging on down below. It comes back for Jolly with a dummy almost taken high by Jarrett. The support player was taken out. That was Colin Brennan. There was a touch judge going to come in on this. There is no report coming in, but Colin Brennan was taken out in support. Jarrett is going to get penalised here for a tackle that was a little high.
Yeah, Jarrett's ended up with the jersey in his hand, so I guess that says his hand must have been open as he went in to make the tackle. He started high, he has clipped him around the ears, I guess, and then grabbed onto the collar. But certainly the warning for the high shot is vindicated by the referee.
Still plenty of time left in the match. It was right on the line as far as I'm concerned from Jarrett. Sure of one thing, it certainly didn't hurt the halfback Jolly.
Well, he made the decision pretty early to go in and make that tackle, ball and all. There was trouble on the outside there. I think it's a tough penalty, actually.
President's Cup trophy that these two teams are bidding for. Crushers looking to put their name on it for the first time, but right at the moment, Parramatta electing to go for goal. If they get that, it's a 6-point ball game. It's a long way off extra time, but if we are tied up at the end of 70 minutes, it's 10 minutes each way. This is Stephen Jolly, 20 metres out, 15 in from touch. Off the boot, it is perfect. So Parramatta, they've picked up another 2, and it's now 18 points to 12. And the challenge is coming from the minor premiers when it counts most. This grand final in the under-21s, Parramatta through the season had lost only 4 matches. In fact, 5 games they lost during the year. They finished at 34 points in the season proper and won their way straight through to the grand final, beating Illawarra a fortnight ago by 25 points to 12. So really it's been trouble-free for them up until the first 35 minutes of this match.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have made the same decision to take the shot at goal there. I thought Parramatta were on a great roll. They had another set of 6 tackles staring them in the face right on the Crushers line. I thought the possibility of them scoring was fairly great, but anyway, they're back in the match, only 6 points behind. And I guess their first goal now is to try to even the scoreline up. They'd be quite prepared to go into extra time.
Now Parramatta up to halfway. Dennis is there. He's the man in the headgear for the South Queensland Crushers. This is Marinkovic, the hooker. Inside there, Brennan ran into some strong defence from the 2 front rowers, Woodward and Durnford. Crouch way here with the halfback Jolly kicking low, and that is one heck of a take from Rhoda. Well, how did he do that?
Well, that could be the will be the turning point of the game. What about the hands from Rhoda? Unbelievable skills from that young man. I thought it was really a nothing kick there from Jolly. Had numbers on the outside, they would have been better off running the football. How's that?
15 inside their own half. Anthony. Maybe a little bit of steam has gone out of their effort as Woodward gets another one of those offloads. He's a good player, this front rower, Paul Woodward.
A little bit of risk in that offload though. Do they need it? Really, they need to get right up the other end of the park. Get Parramatta trying to come out of their own line.
Anthony kicking from acting half and now taken on the toes of Corrie. And Corrie comes back in field for a 5-metre gain.
Well, I don't think there's any problem with the offload if you're certain about it. You can't go into your shell, albeit you are in front on the scoreboard. You can't change the way that you've been playing for the majority of the match, so I don't think it was that bad, that offload.
Rocker and Badge at loggerheads. No punches thrown though, thankfully, as Frew now. They've posted down the short side. I'll stick right at it if they do lock horns, but I'll tell you what, Badge, I'll be backing Blogger. Here is McLean.
I'll be hiding right behind you. Sitting in the middle up here.
Right on halfway. The Eels on the last tackle. It comes here for Jolly. Kicking that time for the sideline. It's taken there by Lawson. And Lawson, does he get a chance to show us the pace again? Not that time, as Jolly was up with the chase.
They've plucked him off a couple of times heading across field. Lawson with those kick returns.
Plucked him off. Mario on the sideline.
Yeah, there's 15 minutes to go. You know, the Crushers got what it takes to win their first premiership in this competition. They're a good side. They're working very hard. Parramatta, you can see their enthusiasm has lifted. They can sniff that they're a chance here. It's going to be a great 15 minutes.
The Crushers getting the drive going again. Last tackle here for South Queensland inside Parramatta territory. Gary Jarrett. Has he found some space from the kick? No. One bounce to Marn. And Marn back to a straight line of Crushers defenders. Nicol and Dennis were up there. Of course, coming up, we've got the reserve grade grand final. And that will feature the Sharks and the Auckland Warriors. The Warriors, like the Crushers, bidding for their first title. Managed to kick off just after midday. Nice offload there from Kalis. Parramatta now almost back to halfway. Trailing by 6 points, Jolly. Here it is with Brennan. He's been a willing runner. Colin Brennan, he's taken a few hammerings in tackles. He was a little slow to his feet there as well. As here is Fafua. He's lost the ball. And Parramatta, at a critical time, have come up with an error.
That's been the problem. Every time they've seemed to get on a little bit of a roll in the second half, this Parramatta side, they've had good field position, really attacking this Crushers line, and they've made 3 or 4 fumbles in this second half when they've been in good position. There's Woodward there with a cut eye, and hasn't he had a mighty game for mine? He's been the best player on the field.
He has experienced the higher grades this year as well, Woodward. Had half a dozen games in reserve grade, but right now he'll be on the bench. Nathan Solojinkin comes back into the play. I don't think it'll be a long time he'll be out of the action though, Paul Woodward. The Crushers, they're desperately in need of points now to shut out the Parramatta challenge as Lawson gets involved from that scrum. Their own 40-metre line. Now the ball is with Dennis. Just cut out of that. Hit up by the front rower, Rando. Now Tukey. There he is again, the big bowling ball, knocking over a few 10 pins on his way through. Now Antonic, away here for Durnford.
It's been their size that's really led the way for them, South Queensland. The ability there to break tackles, they're big men in the middle of the field. They've really done a good job for South Queensland. They haven't ventured wide that much. Jarrett's had a great involvement in the game.
Jarrett kicks high on the last. Pressure here on Corrie and Marn. They don't contest the football. The Crushers are over. Does Jarrett force it? The referee is having a close look and awards the tie. That could be the match winner to the 5'8" Gary Jarrett. A 10-point lead. It's 22 points to 12. But who was going for the football?
Well, Gary Jarrett no doubt wanted to. Solojinkin just overrunning him. The referee warns him off. He's tried to stay out of it, but Jarrett on the way through, no protection at all. The Parramatta players waiting back for someone else to take it. Marn was way out of position. He wasn't under it. And Jarrett couldn't believe his luck.
Well, I was just watching Marn in the back play there. He took a couple of steps backwards in the in-goal area. He might have misjudged the flight of the football. No Parramatta player in sight. Up goes Jarrett. That is a magnificent take, and didn't he do well to get the football down? Plenty of power shown by that man. His involvement in the game has been outstanding. And that could well be the ball game.
Well, we said a great take, but I guess they're made easier when no one else is there contesting it with you.
Well, it's hard to believe, but I beg to differ with you, Gary. I thought Mann was in position, but then at the last moment he just, for whatever reason, only he will know, took a few steps backwards into his own in-goal area. And what you saw was an unchallenged take for Gary Jarrett. Thorburn back with the kicking duties. And there is a 12-point lead for the South Queensland side. Are they home? There's 12 minutes remaining. It's 24 points to 12. Tries to 2 here. They've managed 4 goals as well. The Crushers, barring probably a 5 or 10 minute period in the second half, have certainly been the better side. And they're being rewarded right now as Anthony. Good young player, the hooker. I'm sure he'll figure in first grade somewhere down the line, as now Burton spinning away, back for Thorburn. That's good play from the lock forward, Mark Burton, for the Crushers. 5 tackles up for the South Queensland side. It comes for Jarrett. Had the choice of running the football there on the last, and under pressure has put it outside the playing surface, in fact into the crowd on the full.
And that's the sort of pressure that Parramatta needed earlier in the half. Jarrett a little bit slow to kick the football. He takes his time. Good chase there from Marker from the Parramatta players, but it might be a little bit too late.
The Eels, it's with Coyner. A fend away from Anthony, then away from Solodjinkin. Corrie tries to come back infield off the left wing, getting a little closer to the action. Marinkovic, Jolly. There it is with Scanlon. He's hardly run the ball at all, the 5'8", Simon Scanlon. Now Jamie Marr. 3 defenders there for the Crushers. Inside the final 10 minutes now. Parramatta are 35 metres out, almost forward from dummy half. Crouches with it. Able to make 5 metres on that play. McLean, it's gone straight over the shoulder of Jolly. Fielded by Scanlon. Forced to run with the football that time, and intercepted comes the way of Nickel. Well, that was just sloppy play from Parramatta. And the Crushers come away from the 30-metre line up to the 40.
Well, the Eels are in the position they know they need to score very soon. They're getting desperate, so I guess you could be forgiven for pushing passes, trying to come up with something special. It just makes it a little bit easier now. The Crushers, if they keep their defence, when Para have the ball, if they keep swarming the Eels and putting them under pressure, they're going to find more of those mistakes before the game's over.
Anthony feeding on here for the front rower, Durnford.
And it has been an outstanding performance from the Crushers. As I said a little bit earlier, I'm amazed how many of their forwards just put their hand up and share the workload. It's been an outstanding performance in the forwards from the South Queensland Crushers.
Last tackle. Woodward is back from the blood bin, the big front rower. They're kicking for the corner. Here's Andrew Frew. It was a good bounce for him. He's covered up, though, by the chasers. Nickel was there. There's 2 teammates as well. A wrestling match there from Tim Donovan, the 14. Out of trouble comes Corrie for Parramatta. The side that, in one of the matches they played against the Crushers this year, they absolutely belted them. They won by 44 points to 6. The other occasion, they won by 24 points to 18. So the table's well and truly reversed in the match that matters most. And the Eels at the moment, they're copying a real hammering in running the ball out. There's the tackle coming up from Solodjinkin. From the lock forward Burton that it was a lost ball. The touch judge is coming in as they wrestle there, Christian Robertson and Solodjinkin. Which way is the penalty going to go? Solodjinkin has got a cut under the left eye. He's the man copping the caution. No player from Parramatta up there. So Solodjinkin is the man in trouble. Doesn't seem any more than just a bit of push and shove, but Parramatta get the penalty from it, but it has soaked up some time as well, which doesn't help the cause of Parramatta.
Not a good idea to try and throw them when you're on the bottom.
He's learnt. Now Parramatta on at 21 is John Kovac. Could be Kojak looking at his hairstyle, or lack of. Now Scanlon. Villa trying to stand. In fact, that was Coyner, the second rower, on halfway. Now with it Robertson. Away for Kovac. Held up in the tackle of Solodjinkin. The Crushers realising it'll only be a few more sets of 6 if they can hold on. But the match is theirs. Parramatta 35 metres out from the Crushers line. Robertson with it is Jolly. Now Scanlon. Scanlon on for McLean. McLean has support. His ankle tap. There's the pass put down by Marr. Oh, McLean was through. I'm not sure who got the ankle tap, but it was enough to get him off balance. And the Crushers will come back with the football on the 20.
Well, here it is, the chase out wide. The little ankle taps put him off balance and forced that pass. I still think it was there to be caught by the winger. I'll tell you what, Parramatta trying to come back from a 12-point half-time deficit. It's a bit tough. And there's an ankle tap late in the game too. Block, this brings back memories.
I knew you couldn't help bringing it up, could you?
89 grand final. The Tigers and the Raiders. Just for a moment relived as Rhoda with it for the Crushers. Donovan was the player who came up with the ankle tap. Tim Donovan. Anthony. Been so busy from dummy half. Now Edie. Set at the top. He's celebrating his 21st birthday. Nathan Anthony. The biggest day of his life if they win the grand final. All Rhoda hit hard there by the lock forward Capavilla. Anthony away for Jarrett. Last tackle for the Crushers. There he is taking plenty of time before kicking. Corrie on first bounce. Getting through is Donovan. Plenty of support there too.
And he really has tried to lift his Parramatta side. Capavilla, his involvement in the game's been outstanding. He's really tried to pull off a couple of those big hits, but he hasn't had any help today. He's put his hand up to run the football as much as he can. If you had a look at the stats, I mean, he'd sure be leading the way for the Parramatta side, but hasn't had that many helpers today.
The Eels 25 out from their own goal line. It's inside the final 5 now as Kovac ran into Tukey. Still able to offload. And the Eels going forward now. The Crushers defence needing to just scramble a little there. Ben Rhoda in centre field. And the Eels getting a move on now. And it was that man Capavilla again for Parramatta. Last tackle. They must run it here. Loose pass from Jolly. Fielded there by the centre. Can they catch it? The Crushers. There's a real juggling match going on. Jarrett was offside.
Offside.
And Parramatta will get a scrum feed at best out of this. As Nathan Carr put the chip over the top. It was a big effort for the football.
Well, he's not offside. The last Parramatta player touched it last before Jarrett took it. So good ruling from the ref. They must score now if they're any chance. I don't think they are, Parramatta. But an outside hope if they can score now and score again from the kickoff. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, it has to be right now, doesn't it? It's Carr. Carr almost gets through. He gets inside the 20, and Thorburn, the little halfback, had to come across to make a try-saving tackle. Marr coming back in field, the fullback. Thrown to ground there in the tackle of Donovan. With Kovac for Parramatta. This is their last chance with Kovac. He'll get over the line, but can he force it? O'Brien has the closest of looks. He's pushed back to the field of play. Jolly floats the pass, fielded on the bounce by Coyner. And Parramatta with some scrambling passing. Now Robertson, 15 metres out from the line, and Durford came in over the top to finish off the tackle. They'll have one last challenge, the Eels. Jolly. Now with it is Scanlon. Scanlon, it comes off the legs of one of the Crushers players, the second rower. He's lost the football. It was Cruikshank, and Parramatta will get another chance.
Just trying to say there was a hand in the tackle there too, Cruikshank. Trying to appeal to the referee. Let's see it here.
Well, it was, but not an intentional knockout from one of the Parramatta players. He lost control of the ball. Their chance from the scrum, but all too late.
On the sideline, are they still a chance, Parramatta, or are we hoping just too much?
Oh, you're optimistic, mate. There's only 2 minutes to go before full time. What a great performance by their coach, Graham Hurley. Bossy, you mentioned before the trouble in the club. He's prepared this side very well. A good football team. Their first ever competition in the Crushers, and good luck to them.
There's now Parramatta still attacking with McLean. But this defence is tackling McLean. Was there a drop ball? The touch judge had a little say into his flag, and the referee gets the call, so the Crushers will have a scrum feed.
And this will be a slow walk to the scrum too. Not that long left on the clock. Minute 40 actually. There's the loose ball there. I just don't think they've involved themselves in the game. They look strong players. Carr out wide for the Parramatta side. Look the goods when they have got the football, but just haven't got it enough today for Parramatta.
So just over a minute remaining. The Crushers leading by 24 points to 12. The scrum is going to soak up close to all of that time the way it's going. Thorburn from the scrum base. Here with it is Edie. His dad would be watching this one proudly. Just outside their own 10-metre line. Nothing fancy now as Hubbard takes off from that point. Did some good things in the first half, the fullback, Paul Hubbard. Now with it is Durnford. Big shoulder away from Jolly. Damien Durnford for the Crushers. In the post-mortem, you'll look back at the effort of the two front rowers for the South Queensland side. They've been exceptional. Now Tukey, three front rowers. He's been the man coming off the bench. 30 seconds remaining. As it comes for Edie. They're up there. He tried to fend there on the lock forward, Capavilla. This is the last play here for the South Queensland side in this set of 6. Very slow play the ball, puts a bit of pressure on the halfback Thorburn, but as cool as you like, puts it into touch. There's plenty of hugs and backslapping already amongst the Crushers players. There'll be no time for this scrum to pack down. And there is plenty of jubilation, and why not? This will go down as one of the gutsiest performances of the season from the South Queensland Crushers. Talk about overcome adversity. That is what the Crushers have done. I reckon this club doesn't have a future. They've won the match by 24 points to 12. There's young blokes out there not knowing when their next match will be or where it will be. And they've come up with a title as underdogs, beating the minor premiers and beating them well. Mark Tukey there in the centre of that scrum, if you like, of Crushers players. And the Parramatta side, they're all down on their haunches. They know they played nowhere near their best today, but they weren't allowed to by just the commitment and the enthusiasm of the Crushers players. So you're looking at 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, the juniors with the South Queensland Crushers. They were unbeaten at home this year. They've faced sudden death right through the final series. In fact, their last 5 weeks have been all sudden death football, and they have come through with a perfect record. And they've completed it here with a win in the grand final. 4 tries to 2, the scoreboard will show. 24 points to 12, their first title. And what we'll do now is take a break and come back for the presentation of the President's Cup. Congratulations extended to the South Queensland Crushers.
Welcome back to the football stadium, and that's the scene down there. We've just seen the President's Cup grand final taken out by the South Queensland Crushers, and wasn't that a terrific result for them because, of course, Parramatta had beaten them a couple of times before this year and were the hot favourites. So we've witnessed a fabulous display, and we're getting ready for the presentation. It's trophy time. Here is the Master of Ceremonies, Brad Levy.
Well, the South Queensland Crushers will celebrate long and hard tonight after the club's first appearance in a grand final has resulted in victory in the President's Cup, defeating the minor premiers by 24 points to 12. Ladies and gentlemen, would you put your hands together for both teams on a tremendous game in the grand final. Joining me on stage to make the presentations is a board member of the New South Wales and Australian Rugby Leagues. Would you please welcome Mr. David Barnhill.
Thank you, Brad. Once again, I firstly would like to thank you all for coming early in the day to create the environment that these two teams were worthy of. The Crushers President's Cup team today has created history in being the first team to ever take this illustrious trophy out of the state of New South Wales, and I'd like to congratulate them on it. This trophy is a competition which are controlled by the league as part of the finalisation of the junior development of young players, has shown to be a success once again, and I'm sure everybody here saw the future stars of the Optus Cup, and they were on display here early today. To the losers today, the Parramatta team, you showed courage, commitment and dedication the way you came back in the second half. Everybody in this crowd thought that it was on the way, but on the day the Crushers had the ability to hold you out. But congratulations on behalf of everyone here and the chairman of the league, Mr. Arthurson, to both teams.
Thank you, David. Just before David presents the President's Cup trophy to the South Queensland Crushers, we'd call on the skipper of the runners-up for 1996, Stephen Jolly from Parramatta.
All I've got to say is congratulations to the Crushers. They deserved it. They played 4 tough games to get here. They got here all sudden death, and they deserved it on the day. To our fellas, you know, we put 10 hard months in, and I still believe we're the better side all year, so you can keep your heads up and work towards the future. To the coaching staff, thank you a lot. Colkey, Devo, Case, Toby, you know, without yous we wouldn't be here. But most of all, I'd like to thank supporters. Come out here today, is back at the club, and all the support we've had through the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen Jolly from the Parramatta Club. And now to receive the President's Cup trophy from David Barnhill, would you please make welcome the captain of the South Queensland Crushers, Nathan Anthony.
To Nathan, on behalf of the chairman, Mr. Ken Arthurson, the Australian Rugby League, I'd like to present your team with the President's Cup for 1996.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Parramatta. They're a credit to themselves and their coach. They've beaten us twice during the year, but unfortunately for them, we beat them in the main game. To 20 blokes behind me, we've been through some highs and lows during the year. We reached the pinnacle and we were able to topple a good side to win the grand final. To Hurls and Jono, they're a credit to themselves. They really held us together, and they're the reason why we're such a good side. To all their people back at Queensland to help us get down here with our sponsors, thanks very much. All the people that have made the trip down here, thank you very much. Over Bay 39, Bay 12 here, thank you very much. And everyone back home, Maxie and all the boys at PKs, thanks very much.
Nicely done. The South Queensland Crushers, the champions here in the President's Cup, and joining me now, Peter Sterling. Considering what the club's been through, it's been well documented, but this is a nice thing to happen to a club after a tough year.
Especially only their second year in the competition, Ken, and the fact that they have had problems, that obviously filters all the way through the club, and it's a tremendous effort on these young players' part to be able to concentrate on the job in hand and to turn around a result earlier in the season in round 8 where they were beaten by the Parramatta team 44 points to 8.
Still, when you look at the kids this size, I mean, some giants out there and some fellows with some tremendous ability in both teams. You look at them and you say, these fellows aren't that far away from playing first-grade football. The talent's obviously there.
Well, they are the lifeblood of our game, and, you know, the adage these days is if you are good enough, you're old enough. And we see the likes of Brad Fittler coming straight from schoolboy football into the top grade, and I'm sure that many of these Crushers players will be hoping to follow that lead set by the Australian captain, the current Australian captain. And this is a great moment for these young players. That, as was pointed out by David Barnhill, they have created history. The first Crushers team to make a grand final and to be successful. And they will relish this, and it will be something that they'll look back on with very fond memories and hope that it is the start of many great memories in their careers.
When you look at the size of a couple of these young fellows, you'd rather feed them for a day than a week, wouldn't you?
Exactly, and again, that's just an indication of the training that they are receiving now, the fact that they're exposed to things like weight programs and diet programs at an earlier age, and they're being prepared to be able to take that next step from the junior rugby league into the top grade.
Well done, South Queensland Crushers. You've done your state proud, particularly your club, and good luck to you and enjoy the day. We're coming to you live on Grand Final Day at the Sydney Football Stadium. More in a moment.